Nowadays, most people can't keep up with the pace of change. However, those who have learned to live in the world say that the classics are the lamps that illuminate the modern era. Today, we are living in a harsh, cruel, and dreary time. So, in today's video, we learn from the wise men of 1,000 years ago, unless we correct them right away. Neglecting the little things. Nothing in the world happens suddenly. Before a major illness occurs, there must be numerous signs in the body, and before a financial crisis, there are always warnings from experts. But people usually don't find out the reason why, only after things happen. And then he realized that the signs have long since appeared and that we could have stopped it any time before it happened. In the 63 chapters of the Tao Te Sutra, there is a verse that says that great things under the world always begin with the smallest things. In other words, any big thing always starts with a small thing. But if you neglect the little things, you will end up with big things. So the wise people of the world tell us to pay attention to the little signs. People suddenly fall because they miss a small sign, and a person's success in an instant is because it starts with a small mistake. If you try to look at the big picture, you won't be able to pinpoint the problem, and it may be too late. Therefore, it is necessary to pay attention to even the smallest details. It is good to work hard to build a tower in order to succeed, but always keep in mind that a tower with a very small amount of work can collapse in an instant. Being obsessed with other people's views and evaluations. The British newspaper Daily Mail introduced Nunji as a culture unique to Korea. That is why Koreans are obsessed with other people's gaze and evaluations. It has the advantage of noticing and responding to the feelings, but it is not always good to notice. If you look at Chinese history, there is something in common between the heroes and the people who achieved the final victory. It's not that he risked his life for cause and pride, but that he had a thicker face than others. Although Han Gojo Liu Bang was submissive and Cao Cao of the Three Kingdoms was adept, but he became the ultimate victor. I was able to succeed in the end because I was able to immerse myself in what I wanted to do without being attached to the opinions of others. Pride, compassion, and cause are both important virtues and are the eternal truth. However, if you cling to other people's opinions or evaluations, you may not be able to make important decisions or become entangled in sentimentalism that sympathizes with others, and you may lose your enthusiasm and courage for your goals. Whenever that happens, remember that you will eventually win if you go towards your goal with a thick face. Inability to control the sudden anger. The most important thing in life we must be on guard against is sudden anger. Screaming with anger has long been considered the most important thing to be wary of. This is because when you suddenly lose your emotions and burst out in anger, there are only regrets and problems to be resolved. Sudden anger is the thing that people in public office should be most wary of. If a subordinate is dissatisfied with his or her work, he should take a closer look and deal with it. Then there will be nothing that does not hit the flesh. If you express your sudden anger first, it will only harm you. Therefore, it is necessary to properly express and dissipate anger and live in moderation. Whenever a sudden anger arises, practice controlling your mind the South Korean way. The easiest way is to count the numbers from 1 to 10, or there is a way to repeat your favorite sayings or phrases in your head. Keep in mind that momentary anger is only fleeting business tied to a rigid mindset. In this day and age, you cannot create creative capabilities with just one specialized knowledge. By the way, did you know that the contents of this integrated human have already been published before the ancient times? This is because the container only holds what is appropriate for its purpose. If you fall into a well and stick to the sky you see from the well, you are no longer an expert. The ability to accurately report trees and see trees and how they make up a forest. This is what a professional who creates a new future with truly creative knowledge will look like. This era needs people who can read the whole, can embrace many people, and have a mindset that can appreciate diversity. Living your life the way it goes with no goals. What is your life goal? In fact, if you live each day in a hurry, your goals in life become blurred and you are in a hurry to live your mail. But in the long run, living life the way it goes without a purpose is never a good idea. Because at some point in your life, if you suddenly wake up, you will have nothing in your hands and only time will pass. Have you heard of the term Hoshi Tam Tam? It is often used in the sense of aiming for Hoshi Tam Tam to steal other people's things, but the original meaning is slightly different. You have to observe exactly how others live, then you have to dream and set goals to find out how you want to live and get what you want. In other words, it runs towards the goal it wants to reach. just as a tiger stares at its prey and concentrates on the goal. Staring at the target with the eyes of a tiger, the target will come to reality in front of your eyes. Ignoring the physical process and chasing only the results, do you know the biggest difference between successful people and unsuccessful people? It is the attitude towards the process and the results. Successful people are well aware that good jade is not built in a day, just like Rome is not built in a day. So we're accumulating what we're doing today, so we know exactly what the outcome will be in the future. On the other hand, unsuccessful people can stand the process of reaching success. There is a saying among the ancient idioms in the poetry book. To know this word accurately, you must first know the ancient Chinese jade processing technique. The first step is the process of cutting the jade to separate it from the gemstone. The second step is the tea process of sliding the jade into the shape you want. The third step is the grinding process of pecking the jade into the shape with a tool. The last step is the grinding process of the finished jade. In other words, it refers to the process of making jade by cutting, slicing, pecking, and grinding. Such good jade is not made in a day. Everything has a process and there's a process. Ignoring this process would be stupid. That is why the best is achieved only when we silently walk towards our goal step by step. The short-term results of ignoring the procedure do not last long. Great performance success depends on how robust and straightforward your processes and procedures are. Good things don't always happen in life. I lose opportunities because I don't know where to go. What should you do to achieve the happiness and success you dream of? The answer to this can be found unexpectedly nearby. So, classics are not like old stories, but like treasure chests, where you can find wise ways to overcome crisis. If life doesn't go on your way, or if you want to make a big turning point in your life, pay attention to the stories told in the classics. A classic that I thought was an obvious and outdated story, it was a bookmark. I wish you success and happiness.